Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Matt and welcome back to Crypto Kings. And today's video, we're going to be talking about exactly what is going on right now with Shiba Inu. I know so many people want to know, and with that being said, let's get right into it, folks. So if you guys have not seen what SHIB is doing here on the night, we are down around 1.5%, nothing particularly major to say the least. Market cap here is still around $31.5 billion, which is still quite high, to be honest with you, and definitely when we work up the list, definitely close to USDC and Doge, definitely creeping up once again. I very much could see that overtaking it in the near future. Volume here has been down a lot, like an awful lot, but again, the majority of this volume is pretty even. It's a decrease in sell volume and a decrease in buy volume, so that is not particularly tragic. I don't see the decrease in volume being anything overly bad. Again, sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of a cool off when we're not in the news cycle every single minute and whatnot. I definitely do think that is healthy. Again, of course, we do have the circulating supply issue here, which still has not been resolved. Now, when we check exactly what SHIB is doing here on the day, this has been honestly really, really nice. So again, we had what, again, everybody could basically agree was kind of a cup and handle pattern, either, a cup and handle in this fashion, something along these lines, or just kind of a general kind of V, just a general single bottom with a surge upwards. And it appeared that after the surge upwards, it sort of resisted the 65 line, which, would be making sense. Then, of course, we said, okay, this is going to create the handle. The 65 line here is going to create the handle, obviously heading us down to the around 55 line. But unfortunately, on the way back, it did not succeed in moving past the 61 line, preventing that cup and handle explosion. Because there is an instance, there is a situation in which you would have a cup, a handle, and then a very bullish movement. This happens a lot. It just didn't happen in this particular instance, and that is a-okay. So when it comes down to it, again, we have a cup and a handle here, but more than that, what this also looks to me is when we ignore everything from the fourth onward, this looks like a flag with a bunch of different movements after. This looks like a bull flag, and you guys can see that bull flag exemplified here, of course, when we draw the flagpole, and then we have our little V's after it. And of course, when we look at a typical bullish flag pattern, it kind of looks something like this. It really does. There are a lot of instances in which you'd have a bull flag like this, a bull flag uptrend, and that looks to be exactly what SHIB is doing right now. It's making this bull flag, and it's making a bunch of different V's after. And ideally, if it can sustain this, if we are able to have a flag like this and a bunch of different V's kind of sustained, we could have it eventually erupt in some way, headed perhaps back into the 70s, which, I think would be really, really good. So that is the current option going on with the flag. When we check the relative strength index, you guys can see right now on screen, we're right around 50, so right around the middle. Nothing particularly amazing going on here, nothing particularly exciting. It shows it's not all that volatile because, again, this volume is very low. This is a very low amount of buy volume and a very low amount of sell volume. So there's nothing, redonkulously volatile going on here. Nothing I would, lose sleep over in terms of a volatile price, because really, it would have to have the whale would have to just, the whale would have to sell all his SHIB overnight, in order for this to really, in my opinion at least, have a kind of major impact like that, because I don't see much like news going on right now overnight. This volume is very, very clearly, down from what it was, and that's understandable. So again, we're kind of consolidating here right, around the middle here and right around 50, on the relative strength index, which is definitely not bad, and it kind of does look like a little period of consolidation here from the flag. So again, we have the flagpole, the flag, and it does look like it's kind of consolidating in this way. When we check, of course, the Fibonacci retracement, one of my all-time things to check. I check it just about every day on every single crypto in the world that interests me. You guys can see we have the top and the bottom of essentially every, part of the most recent run. So we have the top here all the way at 65 and the bottom here at 55. And really, we're not getting an awful lot of information from this. It's essentially just telling us that this 23.6% line is very pivotal. So again, you have the sort of handle here from the cup. Obviously, we have the cup the handle here, and the very bottom of this handle here is at 55. Then we test for a sort of breakout. The test does not succeed and is thwarted by the 61.8% line, which you guys can see. It is thwarted by that line as well as the 50% line. It is also thwarted by that. So what essentially happens here is we bounce off of the 23.6% line yet again, which, honestly is fine, because it is very possible that, when having a flagpole like this being created, we have it just kind of bouncing. If it wants to bounce like this, that's fine. It's a little bit lower, but it's a consolidation regardless. If we want to have this and we want to have it bounce and we want to have it bounce off of the 23.6% line, that is also fine. So any of these circumstances are quite fine for a bounce. Again, maybe there's a situation in which it bounces off the 38.2% line. All these situations are quite fine and quite feasible for some kind of bounce like this, and definitely is worth looking into. When we check the MACD, which you guys can see here on the screen, we're getting a soft sell, so nothing overly major. Again, it's not giving us any crucial bits of information. It's just telling us that it looks like a soft sell, and again, the red is slightly above the blue here, so once these recross, that definitely could change some things, but right now, it does look to be like a soft sell. So overall, guys, definitely not a tragic day for SHIB in any way, shape, or form. I definitely do believe that within the next week or so, we could see some kind of breakout towards 70. It is possible that this, period of consolidation could fail and we could see something bearish. But, it is also very possible that we could head up to 70. So again, we have really what looks to be a new line of support around 55-ish. It definitely does look as if, it broke that as a key resistance, and now it is using it as a key support. And if it wants to, in all of these instances, if it wants to, bounce in some way off of the 55, that is fine, in my opinion, as long as it is able to stay above that 55 line. Things will definitely be doing a little bit better, to say the least. I definitely do think, again, this circulating supply is causing a little bit of FUD, a little bit of, sort of aggravation with a lot of people. I also think that when it comes down to it, there is, a lot of uncertainty about the Robinhood listing, the Kraken listing. I feel like those things are contributing to definitely some uncertainty. And obviously the final issue is the fact, of course, that there is a guy out there who has $5 billion worth of SHIB, and every time the guy literally touches it, anytime he touches his SHIB, it seems as if the market reacts in an explosive way. So I think those three things, the supply issue, the exchange issue, and the fact, of course, that this guy is just holding on to an astronomical amount of SHIB, I definitely think is contributing to a little bit of FUD and making it just a little bit more difficult for us, to succeed in these breakouts. So that is definitely my sentiment. That being said, guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.